Can you tell us how is the tour going so far?
It's going well. It's going very, very well, and it's getting better every day, because I think it's a new tour, and we're learning a lot after every show. And I personally take a lot of, do a lot of research after every show to find out what's going on, especially like the lights that we were talking about before.
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40s. I go by the name Black Pegasus, and today I'm checking out Freddie Mercury. Now, this is a Freddie Mercury interview from 1982. Super random for the channel at some capacity, but all the reactions I've been doing to Queen, I realized I've never even heard Freddie Mercury's speaking voice. I've never heard it. So I just wanted to hear him talk. One of the members on the channel actually sent me this link and said, you should react to a Freddie Mercury interview. And immediately I was like, actually, you're absolutely right. Now, I didn't know which one to go to. So if you guys have some better recommendations, throw them in here. But shout out to the member who sent me this link, because I just chose it because I didn't have any reference points. And I was like, yeah, I would like to, if there's some good interviews from people like Freddie Mercury, Bon Scott, who else do I really, for some reason, Don Henley from the Eagles, he just intrigues me. He was a madman on the low. He was a legit wild man. And even Joe Walsh. Like, there's just some stuff, like if you guys were interested and you'd show up for it, I did a reaction to Elvis's documentary, and a lot of people showed up for that. I think it had right now it's like 35,000 views. I was like, that's cool, because I like, learning about these things, discussing things, etc. So you guys let me know. But let's get this one started. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and welcome back to the channel.
They tease him a lot, black peas on the spot. Welcome back, 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 welcome back. 40.
All right, getting the logo down and pulling the video up. Don't forget to support the original content on the channel. Also, if you want to check out my other channel, Pegasus vs. the World, over there we take on, comedy, trending topics, basically stuff like that. We do commentary over there. But over here, we do the music and the music reactions. If you want access to the reactions early, there is a link in the description to our membership. It gives you that access so you could have some fun with it. Regardless, I want to thank everyone for your support. Huge shout out to all the members on the channel. And let's get this thing rolling. This is actually on Queen's official channel, so make sure you're going over there to check this stuff out independently of my reactions, because my reactions are never a substitute for the original content. You know that. Anyways, let's go, you guys. Let's dive into this interview with Freddie Mercury. And this interview came out in 1982. Let's see what it's about. Here we go.
Can you tell us how is the tour going so far?
It's going well. It's going very, very well, and it's getting better every day, because I think it's a new tour, and we're learning a lot after every show. And I personally take a lot of, do a lot of research after every show to find out what's going on, right? Especially like the lights we were talking about before. And to make sure that, because they're very sophisticated lights, and they can do so much more. And I think every day I learn something, I ask the lighting man to do something new, and also we're interjecting the show with new songs. So every time we do a new song, we have to have a new light thing. So I think I ask him to try and do different things every day. So I don't know, you've seen the shows before, but I don't know if you find them different. But the light cues can be different, forever. You can have a new show every day if you wanted to.
I love that. I love that he's so obsessed with his art. He's not only involved with the music, the creation of the music, the writing of the music, the performance, but as in-depth as the lighting. Now, there have been a lot of people, like bigger artists I've toured with, and it's like 50-50. Right? There's some who are really artsy and are totally involved with everything that goes on the stage, from the lights to the projector to the lasers, etc. But then there's some artists that just, they're like, yo, I have a lighting guy, and their lighting guy kind of plays with it, and they're kind of hands off. They kind of show up and just perform. But I always noticed from the artists who are really hands on, you always get this little edge in the show. There's just something about them taking the time to craft a visual art display while they're performing versus someone who's just like, because there's some artists who just want to give you sonically the hearing piece. They just want to go out and give you the best show performance in the sense of what you hear. And then there's people who just go all around. It's just a full on, experience, from the visuals to the sounds to even like nowadays. I mean, back then they had that too, but I think I was gonna say from the vibrations, but that's dealing with the sound too. So maybe I'm tripping. But it's also unique to hear him talk about lighting and how sophisticated it was back then, and it's even more sophisticated now. So, it's interesting where we're gonna be in the next few years. But just hearing him talk about that, it's just good to see an artist who's like, literally, he's like, oh, I'm studying the show. I know a lot of artists who are really big, and it depends on the phase they're going through of their career, because I've tour managed a few tours here and there, and some people are all about the art, but then some people are all about the party or other aspects of touring, right? So him taking the time to be focused on that, I'm not saying he wasn't partying, but it's just cool to see that.
Actually, how long did you rehearse for this show? I mean, it's very
We rehearsed for a week in Los Angeles, for 2 weeks. So, but basically, it was all on technical things to make sure that the lights would work. But even then, we didn't really rehearse that much, and we didn't have time to rehearse the new songs, because basically we were trying out the lights and also trying to introduce the new keyboard man. So we had to try and find out if the new songs were going to work with an extra musician, because we'd never done that before. And so most of the time was taken up by that. So we didn't have time to do the new songs, really.
That's crazy.
We recently spoke to Mac in Munich,
Yeah.
the music studios. What do you think of him? I mean, you work for quite a long time.
But Mac is an absolute genius. He's an absolute genius. I think I personally wouldn't want to work with anybody else. And if I was doing any solo projects or anything outside the format of Queen as well, I would use him. What did he say about us?
He said exactly the same.
Did he? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, exactly the same. He said,
I don't know who Mac is. It sounded like he said Mac. The interviewer, I can barely understand through his accent. But it sounded like someone named Mac. Maybe it's a producer, or maybe it's that keyboardist he was talking about. I'm not sure. Maybe y'all can fill me in the comments. But I believe he said Mac.
you want to do it quick, very
Is that what he said?
spontaneous.
Oh, that's good. Also,
It's really...
the rapper was good.
So it's now the 10th anniversary of the band officially.
Yeah.
Is it hard today to last for 10 years or?
Oh, yes. I mean, I tell you, and touch wood, we've been very lucky, and I must say, I didn't really think we were going to last that long. But I mean, you never think about it that way. You don't get up every morning and think, my God, this is going to be over. You just carry on and come up with some fresh ideas and think about what to do. So it's like a big business thing. And as long as we don't take it too seriously. Earlier on, we used to take it very seriously. And I think it got a bit too serious. And I just thought to myself, we should try and inject some fun into it, so it's so that you don't get too serious and too moody about it. So a lot of it. I think sometimes that comes in, that goes through, gets into the songs as well. And get a bit of fun in there. And
does the way have changed?
I didn't want to interject because this is his interview, but my mind was just like, yes, so you don't go crazy. Because I was very similar when I started my rap career, and I think the seriousness of my personality is what kind of killed my rap career, if I'm being honest. Because I was raised in a military family. I'm very serious at times. I have a good time. I am a funny person, but I'm very disciplined. And so it's interesting, him talking, even he didn't say it, but what he's talking about is balance. Finding balance so you don't lose your mind in the music industry. That's what he's talking about. And it's so incredible to hear. There's so many different things going through my mind because this is the 10-year anniversary is what they're saying here. 10 years together, 10 years, you know. And to think, at first I was like, oh, they didn't even rehearse for this tour that he's on right now. I was like, that's incredible. But when you've been a band for 10 years, there's there's just certain songs, like I've been rapping and performing. So there's some songs I've been performing for 20 years personally. But I've been on stages for about 25 years, give or take. It might be more now. I just lose track. But anyways, there's some songs that are just like riding a bike. Just instantly, it's just like, I just know the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I'll never forget these lyrics because I performed these songs so many damn times. And I think, 10 years in is where we're at with this interview. And that's probably where they're at. They're just at mastery. The other thing is, for me, there was a point where I took the performance too serious. I was almost kind of stiff. And there's moments where I started freestyling, doing improv while I perform because it added that element of challenge and excitement that I needed once I had been performing for years and just kind of started getting bored with the performance. And I think there's a level to that when he's saying they didn't rehearse like that because there's a level of excitement of being like, are we going to land this tonight? I know we're going to land it, da-da-da-da. So I don't know. There's just a lot of cool stuff. Also, so the highlights from this little portion, he said, one is balance. In everything, we all need balance, right? Can't be too serious. Can't be, you can't have fun at it, but you got to ring it in. Because you see these artists that go off the path, from the partying lifestyle, and then they never recover. Their career never recovers because they just go crazy. They end up in rehab. So there's a balance to be had there. And then there's a huge key, he said, step by step, right? As a runner, when things got really hard, sometimes I would just, let my peripheral see who's running next to me because I ran long distance, but I really focus on my breathing and my steps. Just, all right, like when I was like, oh my God, can I push myself any further? And I noticed like kind of focusing on my breath work and my steps, just step by step. No pun intended for the who was the New Kids on the Block, step by step. And so there's a key there. We just carry on. We didn't look at this like, oh, I'm going in the studio today. Will this be hot 10 years from now? No, they just focused on the moment, step by step. That's a really big highlighted feat there. Just that's like life, a life lesson. That's like wisdom of the ages. Like that. There's a lot of depth in that, even though it just went by quick in the interview.
And then that comes in, that goes through, gets into the songs as well. And get a bit of fun in there. And
does the way have changed how you are together as a band? I mean, 10 years ago you probably stood all the time together.
Very true. Yes, it's sort of now we've learned to accept each other instinctively. You know what I mean? We know it's a kind of job, and we come together for, which is a good thing because if we stayed together all the time, we'd get on each other's nerves and get. There was a time where there was a lot of friction, where we felt, but then we sort of ironed that out, and we we argue a lot, we fight a lot, but then in the end, what really is the key feature is that we must come up with some product and some good stuff, so we know, and I think we've used an intelligent thing. We don't get too. Because it's easy to get very egotistical and say, I'm the greatest and all that, and I'm not getting. It's quite a fight. And it's not easy. It's not easy because egos can run wild, and all kinds of things can happen. You have to kind of, keep them down a bit and keep one foot on the ground. It's easy to sort of say I'm a big star. I want everything. It's very easy.
Do you think that?
Dude, this is insane. It is so crazy to see him just talking so introspectively about the ego. Like he's literally one of the greatest singers of all time ever. And he's just like, yeah, you kind of have to check that to make things work. That's another gem. Like this is just that universal wisdom, like Miyoto Musashi type bro. This is crazy. And it's just so cool to see him have a level head and be so grounded with these things. Also, from because I was always a solo artist, but when I tour managed groups or bands, I noticed that as a tour manager, I had to have a different personality for every member because every member had a different type of ego. I'll never forget that. That's how it became kind of like this chameleon, or almost like, this concept of political correctness, because I had to be able to work with everyone in the band. And when we had challenges, frictions, or fights on the bus, I had to make everyone feel good. I had to bring it all back together. That was kind of my job, keeping everything together so we could get to the next night. The craziest thing, though, that I just heard Freddie Mercury say that kind of blew my mind, which was awesome. It was just interesting to see, because I look at him as the artist. Like when you think about some of these artists that stand the test of time, the iconic imagery, the legends, the icons, he is in that Mount Rushmore of these legends. And he does seem like an artsy person. But he said, we have to make product. That is so crazy. He called his music product instead of art. There's something to that. And that's, again, that balance, because I know he's super artistic and artsy, but he also knew how to separate the business. I'm just guessing because he called it product. And see, that's where I've always struggled. Sometimes I struggle being super artsy and abstract in certain ways, but I've always been on top of my business and the number side of things. So I just thought that was really interesting. I don't know. I'm learning a little bit from just hearing him speak about him. Again, I've never heard his true voice other than his singing voice, so this is kind of cool.
You have to kind of keep them down a bit and keep one foot on the ground. It's easy to sort of say I'm a big star and I want everything. It's very easy.
Do you think the values in the rock music scene have changed a little bit since the late 60s, early 70s? Maybe at that time the cliche of sex and drugs and rock and roll was...
Yeah, I think you get various elements always through it. There'll always be, as a kind of tradition, there will always be a change because the whole industry needs something like that. Every now and again you get a new phase and then they get a bit too easygoing, and then somebody new comes in, and then everybody who's gone before says, "Oh, we better make sure." And that's good. It's like getting a new, fresh injection, and I like that. It's good competition, and you need that.
Rock music, your show is a very visual show. Is the visual element more important today in the rock music, or has it just developed?
Is the visual element in his rock show more important today than in the past? I'm paraphrasing. That's what the interviewer asked.
A very visual show, Is the visual element more important today in the rock music, or has it just developed?
I think the kind of visual element is always going to have to be there. It's a form of entertainment, entertainment take. And I think there's no way, people want to be entertained in various ways. And one way I know they don't want to be entertained is for people to just come on and play their songs, because they can hear it on the records and go home. I think that's why people try different things. It's all and a lot of visual theatrics. It's always been there from any kind of theatre entertainment, like even Gypsy Rose Lee, from Stripper. I mean, you've got to do something to strip or whatever. It's a kind of entertainment. So it's visual, it's got to be, So visual theatrics will always be used. All the greatest acts have used it in one way or other. Like Jimi Hendrix or the Stones, it has to be there. It's a form of entertainment. It's like plus. You do your music and then entertainment plus. And I just like doing that anyway. I'd hate to go on stage and just sit and sing my songs. I mean, I have to move. It depends on each song. If there's an aggression in some song, I have to show it.
I love that. It actually is kind of freaking me out because it's been a while since I've performed, and I just landed a really big concert. There's a really big rap group, 3-6 Mafia and Yellow Wolf, and I'm going to be opening up for them at an amphitheater in Colorado, and actually in Colorado Springs, the Ford Amphitheater. And because I'm the opener, you don't really it's interesting. As an opening act, you don't get treated like a headliner, right? And I don't feel like humble pie. I'm not saying you should, but hearing what he said, I agree. right? So I want to show up with a light show, LED screens, different visual things. But as the opener, you just, the opener, it's never outshine the master, right? The opener is never to really, you can put on a good show or a great show, but it can't be what the headliners have, And the core of me from doing this so long, I want to perform, you know what I mean? So just hearing that, it made me be like, what can I do? What can I do to bring something cool visually to this audience in a way that, I'm not stepping on the toes of the headliner, et cetera. Anyways, this is something for me to think about, but it just re-solidified how important visuals are for a live performance, which I've always kind of known, but, just hearing him say it is just like, yo, damn.
So, I have to move. It depends on each song. If there's an aggression in some song, I have to show it.
Last question. When you look at the Stones, they have their 20th anniversary this year.
Good Lord, is it 20 years?
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
So can you imagine to get to the same age with your band?
Well, 20 years. Yeah. 20 years.
So what's your comment?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I really, at this time, I wouldn't know. I think it'd be nice if people still buy records and if we still feel. So the most important thing is for us to feel, and I would hate to just do it just because we want to do it to sell records or just to make money. If we weren't interested in it, I wouldn't do it because at the moment I'm interested in doing this. If I lose that interest, I will go and do something else because I feel I can do it. I like trying out different things, but at the moment there's a lot within Queen that we all can do. So and one day I will say to myself, I have done enough with Queen, I will try and do something else. So I couldn't tell you whether that can happen tomorrow or 2 years' time or another 10 years, but who knows? Let's wait and see.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
I wonder if he liked doing interviews. Some people love doing interviews, some people don't. There's little things that I noticed in this interview too. Like I just thought, this is not a big deal.
Try and do something else. So I couldn't.
First and foremost, I never would recommend smoking for your health at all. You guys, I do not condone smoking. I don't smoke, but I ain't gonna lie, man. Some people made it look cool. Like when he like it just looks cool. Why does it look cool, y'all? Anyways, maybe he made it look cool, but it did look cool. The other thing is how Coca-Cola is just on the ashtray, and I'm not sure if it's on this glass too, but I just thought that was so bananas how Coca-Cola was on ashtrays, or maybe it was there on a marketing, but like that's that type of subtle marketing where you're like, man, they're beast mode, just literally solidified through timeless, through movies, through artists, through performances. Like that's the type of marketing. Whoo, crazy. What else? These tours that they were on. I didn't realize, so I knew their tours were big, but I have a friend who drives semi-trucks. He started just driving normal stuff across the country. Then he bought more semi-trucks, built up his company, and right now he's driving for bands. Metallica is on tour while I'm recording this right now, or going on tour. They're using 35 semi-trucks for this tour. So this just makes me wonder, like, how did it look touring back then? Was it 3 semi-trucks? Was it 10? Like, it's just wild, man. The music industry is a very unique thing. It's really cool to see from afar. But anyways, this is my first Freddie Mercury interview and peeping out what he's about. If you guys would like me to check out more interviews from some of the artists I react to and stuff like that, let me know. And it's something we might put in the what is it called? The K, the kachke, the K, the Q. It's spelled K, no? The Q, put it in the Q. Holla. Anyways, yeah, man, that was an interview from 1982. I was 2 years old, and he was just fully blown, getting it popping. Wild stuff, you guys. Anyways, let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ, boy.